Hello, hello, and happy Friday, everyone. Yes, it's me, Coach Bruno, Sanctuary Bruno here, and here we are for Grow Your Mindset session 4, I believe. Trying to work out what session we're at. It's been one of those weeks for me. I've spoken to lots of people this week, and I think it's everyone's kind of having one of those weeks. I've just been speaking to Jack, who's joined us once again. And he was just telling me about how he has had one of those weeks as well. So we are basically going to just not worry about that, plow on through like we have been. And what I will start off with is thank you so much for everyone who is making contact, subscribing, getting so you can get the recordings. And not just that, but actually give me feedback on what changes you're going to make with the information that I'm giving you, which is that's amazing, because for me, that's how I learn so I can able to help people more, is by hearing how you adapt your life, your changes into your day-to-day life and whatever you want to achieve. Because right from the session 1, we kind of mentioned that everybody's unique. Every goal is different. It doesn't matter if it's personal, fitness, or business. It's always going to be different. Even if I've got 2 people in the room and they've both got a business goal, it's still going to be very, very different, even if it's just income. It's going to be a completely different scenario, completely different, paths of lives or whatever, but it's going to be very, very different for you all. So thank you so much for that. I have been corrected. So what I also must say is I can't just say good morning, because it is good morning where I am right now. I know it's good morning where Jack is, but we have people here who are in Australia and also in China, which is really, really nice. And I know for a fact it is not morning over there right now. So good night to you guys who are watching this and when you watch this. But thank you so much, as we really do push out these sessions as far as wide as we possibly can. All I want to do with these sessions is to be able to help you along your way. If I can help you a little bit, amazing. If I can help you lots, great. But if I can just stick a smile on your face and get you to have a little bit of a more positive life, then we are winning. So with that in mind, we're going to crack on with session 4. Okay? What we've done in the past and what we've done in the last few sessions is basically strip everything back. The lists, where we want to go, in the present, we've done all that. You've listened to the recordings. You are now all up to date. And we talked about on Monday how we were going to grab life by the horns. Unfortunately, today is where I'm going to lose some of you. Unfortunately, this is the moment where some of you will not move forward. Why? It's plain and simple. Today, we're going to be talking about fears and doubts. The percentages on people who do not go any further than this point is a split between 80 and 20%. Only 20% of people will leave their comfort zone and go and push out to going to achieve things they're not comfortable to achieve. Stepping out of their comfort zone to try and do something different. To stand out of their comfort zone to do something they really, really want to do that isn't currently in their habits or routines. 20%. Now that's a real big percentage. Sorry, that's a really low percentage when you look at it at the people that are listening to these videos, full stop. If you just think about the people around you, if you're standing in the room, just think about the people in that room. 20% of those people will succeed and will be willing to push themselves out of their comfort zone. 80% of those people will think about it, will talk about it, will never do anything about it. It's a big, big problem. But the thing is, this is where I can try to help you. But this step has to be done by you. You have to put those doubts and fears to one side and go, I will do this. Now, the fact of the matter is, what we're going to talk about today is the fears and doubts. Why do they come into our head? How do we overcome them? And we're not talking about that cliche kind of like you've got to face fear and face to face and battle it out until the sky goes red and that kind of stuff. It ain't like that. Now, we're going to keep this super simple so you're able to get out of your comfort zone in small steps. Because it's a simple example that I used last week about the people who were swimming. Sorry, last week, Monday, done it again. It's a thing about them swimming, about putting your foot in the water where fear of swimming is something you don't want to do. Many of us as adults now, we fear things. We will fear more things now than as we were as kids. When we were kids, we had no fear. We would literally run into a wall to prove a point. We would literally fall off our bike just to prove to our parents that you are going to try and ride it. Facts of the matter is that as we grow older, we start to fear more things. And that's because doubt starts entering our head. As a kid, you do not get doubts. If you want to run, you run. If you want to do something, you do something. You don't have you don't overthink things. You don't doubt things. You don't think as a kid, do I or can I do this? But as you start to get older, I'm talking like going into your teenage years, you know, and all the pressures and stuff like that, doubt suddenly starts getting into your mind because other people start speaking. You can't do that. You won't be able to do that. And that's where the doubt starts coming to your head, because then suddenly you start to believe some things. Or you may fall or fail on one thing. And then suddenly that doubt is going, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not good enough. And this is why we need to make sure that we are prepared for the doubt and fear that will enter our head. Now, this is where it's very important you understand. You cannot stop doubt or fear entering your mind. It's going to happen. Even me, and I truly believe I have a very strong mindset, but I still have days where I doubt things. I still have fear entering my mind. The difference is I know they're coming and I know how to prepare for them and I know how to deal with them. The deal with them for me is doubt is something that I will not allow to stay in my head. And normally doubt is something where you are not confident. Now, I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm talking about that confidence of not being able or not sure that you are able to have the ability to do something. So when we talk about a new business or you starting a new fitness journey, you are not sure or you're not confident enough that you have the ability to grow that. You don't have the ability to achieve that fitness goal or that business goal because you're not confident. And it turns into a doubt, something that you suddenly start, no one else, you start putting these seeds of doubt in your head. Will I earn enough money? Will I get clients? Will I do this? Will I do that? What if this? What if that? Let's slow it all down and let's stop. Two factors, doubt and fear. You will all, anyone, Jack Online, anyone who's listening to this, of the recordings of these videos, will at some point or is currently having doubts or fears about something. It is a natural development, okay? This is where you need to understand. It is not something that you are alone. Because you fear something or doubt something doesn't mean that you are a failure or you're the only person on the planet who does it. Every single person has doubts and has fears. Even the best athletes, the best business owners have doubts and have fears. The difference is they know how to overcome them. If anybody stands in front of you and says they fear nothing and they never have a doubt, they are lying. I'm just going to put it out there, okay? If anybody wants to come forward and challenge me on that, I'm quite happy to challenge you on it. Because I tell you right now, I will find something that you are scared of, as in fear, or you are doubting something at some point in your life. Plain and simple. So it's something normal. It's something that we all have, and we all have had in the past, and it's something that we just need to learn how to overcome. And now This is where you need to understand that it is normal. It is a process that will come into your lives at some point or another, irrelevant if you're starting something new or you're already halfway through a journey. The doubt of you're not good enough will come into a lot of people's minds because of that confidence. But as you get stronger, as your mind becomes more positive, those kind of doubts eliminate. But as I've talked about in the past on our other sessions, our mind can be our best friend or can be our worst enemy. The stronger you get in your mind, the stronger the doubts and the stronger the fears. And this is why I'm saying to you, you will never, ever be able to get rid of those doubts and fears. They will always come, irrelevant how strong you are. This is why I'm quite open to tell people that I still fear things. I still doubt things, but I do have that process. So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at things like, what if? What if I start a journey, fitness or business, and 3 months down the line, I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if my body can't take that? What if I cannot get a client? Now, I could give you a massive list of what ifs, and probably you can sit there right now already thinking back in your mind to even yesterday and thinking, did I have any doubts? In this week, was there something that I looked back on and thought, oh, I would do that, but what if that happens? The UK is a prime example right now. There is so many what ifs. I'm going to do this come April 12th, but what if? Why focus on April 12th when things are meant to go back to the new norm? Don't focus on it. Deal with things you can deal with now and deal with things that you can deal with after the April 12th without worrying about the what ifs. So what if everything doesn't open like planned? Well, you'll be prepared to do other things because you've already thought about it. It's finding the solution for the problem of that doubt, okay? It's overthinking. How many times have you stood there and gone, okay, I really want to buy that. And then suddenly you just stop in the middle of a shop. And now your mind's going, do you want it? No, you don't want it. You don't want it. No, you don't want it. Doubts. But do I really need it? And all of a sudden you're spending 5 minutes making the decision. And this is obviously a very small example. You could make this example much bigger. Overthinking it. I work for someone, I have a salary, I want to go alone. And then you start to overthink the whole thing in the middle. You start to overthink it, which then starts putting loads of little doubts in your head. And this is where the overthinking, you need to be good at making a decision. Now, people will say about making a decision, it has to be thought about. I agree. But also a decision needs to be made fairly quickly. You cannot overthink things because a lot of people will overthink a decision because they want to make sure that they do it right. I agree. But it's the ones that they want to do it right so they do not fail. That is something you cannot control. You do not know what's going to happen in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time. Your decision must be made a lot quicker to stop you overthinking, to stop those doubts going into your head. The next time you want to decide, you want to make a decision, try to do it really quickly. Even time yourself and see how quickly you can really make a decision. The problem is, once you've made that decision, stick to it, good or bad. The sooner you start to learn to make decisions quicker, the sooner you start to realize that your natural development of your mind will learn to make good decisions. There will be decisions that you will make that will basically make you fall flat on your face. This is not a problem. It's a learning curve. And this is where we need to make sure that we are continuously learning and removing, not removing those doubts, but kind of eliminating them. Overthinking is a killer for those. So let's remove those. Let's make sure that those doubts that come in our head are literally going in one ear and straight out the other. If they're hanging around a while, let's make sure we come up with a solution of how to get rid of them. Okay? Doubts are going to be one of the biggest factors that's going to stop you doing things. And this is why we're going back to that percentage. It's a shame. 20% of you are going to leave your comfort zone. Only 20% of you. The other 80, I'm sorry, but we're going to leave you here. And I'm not saying that maybe in 3-4 months' time, you might be that 20%. But right now, that 80% that's watching this, you're not going to go any further. And this is where it's a real kind of, I'm not going to hold no punches, kind of grab life by the horns, because I can give you the information, but I also want to be blatantly honest of where we stand. I want you to give you those understanding that once you decide that I'm going to go for it, fail or no fail, that you are in a 20%, that 20% of people, you need to be proud. Because the step that you've just decided to do, 80% of people out there cannot do it. There's so many people that just make that step and so blasé, like they haven't done anything yet. You've already achieved so much by just getting out of your comfort zone to deal with doubt and fear face on. We are humans. We are creatures of habits. So coming out of our comfort zone is very hard. It's very easy for us to get used to a routine. For example, 2020, 2021, how quickly have we adapted to not leave the house? It's madness. That suddenly it's okay for us to spend 5 days of the week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, worst case, and not leave your house, not leave the 4 walls of your home. It's madness. But because it's a habit, because it's a routine that's come into play and you do it day in, day out, it's okay. But is it? And this is where people's lives can change dramatically. Just because you're living a certain life, a certain way, doesn't mean it's right. There's people I've met in the past that they've done the same thing day in, day out for 10 years. I sit them down and I ask them one question. Are you happy with what you've achieved in the last 10 years? And they look back and they're not. Because they've done nothing but their normal routine for the last 10 years. They've never stepped out of their comfort zone. They've got up the same time. They've gone to work in a job they're not particularly happy with. They've gone on holiday to exactly the same place. They've gone to the same place on a Friday. They've gone to the same place at the weekend. It's the same thing, day in, day out, day in, day out. But really, they weren't happy. Now, if you're happy, like really, truly happy, that's a different story. Because what would happen is you will search for more. So over the course of 10 years, you still will be having routines, but your lifestyle will be very different. 1 year will be very different to others because you were constantly looking for more enjoyment. But if you're in this rut of routines and habits where doubt and fear is holding you in the same path, you really need to think about, do you want to be doing the same thing that you've been doing for the last 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, again for the future year, the future 5 years or 10 years? And there's a very good quote out there that I've used many times, but it's like, if you could come face to face with your future and past self, what would you tell yourself? What would you give your one bit of knowledge? What would you tell your past and present self and future self? And it's something to think about, because for me, I would have loads of stuff I want to say to my past and also my future self. Loads. But just one thing, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But this is where, if you are that kind of person now, where you're watching this and you are going down a route that you're not happy with, but you are that kind of person that is going to be in that 80%, I am going to ask you the question, do you really just want to keep plodding on? Because there is an opportunity for you to change it from that 80% and to become the 20%. You can do that. I can give you the ingredients, the tools, the tips, but you need to make that decision that I want to change my life. Now, doubt and fears are going to have a huge factor on it. The fear is literally something that is setting you down. It's stopping you getting up and going, I'm going to do it. Because fear fuels the doubt. People, when they think of fear, they think of adrenaline. They think of like jumping out of a plane. Fear is of people right now not wanting to leave their house because of a certain disease, virus that's out there. People are scared or fear what they're going to hear on the news. People are fear or are scared of getting old. There's lots of different fears and factors. We could bring it right down and make it small. There's people that fear failing. They do not want to do something because they don't have the confidence that they're going to do it. People don't want to do a fitness journey because they're worried they're going to fail. Even though they will have a coach like me that can essentially get them to the end goal. But fear holds them back. And this is why lots of things will come into play, not just your mind. We have, over the years, have had a lot of knowledge being thrown at us through the internet, through TV, that are seeds of doubts, of seeds of fear. There is stuff of people around you that will say certain things that will put doubts into your head or fear into your head because they've tried something and failed. I do certain bike challenges to overcome certain doubts and fears in my head, but also to prove to people that certain things that you believe are impossible can be achieved with the right mindset. Am I going to enjoy it? No. Is it going to be hard work? Yes. But it's the overcoming that doubt and fear. If I sat down and really thought about these challenges and what could potentially go wrong, the doubt and fear will be overwhelming. When I sat down and decided that I wanted to be self-employed, I wanted to run my own business. If I really sat down and thought about everything that could go wrong, would I be self-employed now and would I have my own business? Maybe not. And this is where a lot of you will be thinking about having a better life. But because you've been sitting there contemplating the worst of what could happen, rather than focusing on what are the benefits, what are the good things that are coming out of it. Let's look at it personally, fitness or business. Let's say you want to run your own business and suddenly you take away all the aspects of what could go wrong and then just look at everything that could go right. More time, your own boss, whatever money you earn for yourself, able to do things your way. I mean, the list is endless. Not focusing on that. Exactly the same when we do it for a fitness journey. Let's look at it on a basic fat loss journey. The negative thoughts that people come into their heads are things like, yeah, but what happens if I have a cheat meal? What happens if I go to a party? Or what happens if I can't exercise? Just look at the positives. You're going to feel amazing. You're going to look good. Mentally, you'll be on your best game. And not only that, you're going to be smashing goals that you put into place. You're going to be a better person. Let's not think about that. And this is why in your personal life, whatever you want to do, just stop a minute and stop focusing on the negative bits, the bits that what happens if it goes wrong? What happens if I move and it doesn't go right? Focus on what life could be like. You know, people always say, but life's not always about sunshine and rainbows. Well, why not? If you live in a place that it's always sunshine, it's always going to be sunshine. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's your choice. You know, I know people that live in certain countries where it's always hot. So, when you can't go to them and say, but do you worry about a rainy day? They'll be like, no, it happens like 5 times a year. That's not a negative then. You know, you're not happy in the job that you do. Well, let's not focus on that anymore. Stop. So we know that you're not happy in your job. Okay, so you could focus on it as a manager, it's other bit, the commute. No. But let's focus on what on the good things. Okay, if you don't want to leave your job, so let's focus on the good things. Well, you got a salary out of it. Because all of a sudden, when you start looking at things like that, it's amazing how 1 minute it's gone from all grey, your mind painting a very grey picture, to all of a sudden, it is sunshine and rainbows. Life just seems just like that little bit positive. Because all we're doing is keeping that doubt, keeping those negative, those kind of emotions to just one side. Because moving forward, you need to understand that it's the outlook. Are you going to have a day where something's going to happen and you're going to have to face your fear? Yes, is the answer. Okay? How do you overcome it? Well, you have a choice. If you know it's coming and it's something you can do in small steps, so you're not taking the full brunt of that fear, whatever it may be, then that's an option. Or just face it and go for it. Because what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is that you could fall flat on your face and that's it. You just get up, dust yourself off, learn what has happened and use it as experience to move forward. My biggest fear, I actually have a few, but my biggest fear is failure. Is that when I do things, I fail. That is probably one of my biggest fears. It's not dying, it's not this and that, not having money, no. It's failing because I put so much into what I do. I won't go as far as saying I'm a perfectionist, but I really am. I do give it everything. I really am like confident that what I'm pushing across, what I'm giving people is the best I can. Which means if I fail, that's something that would hurt. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to fail certain steps along the way. I have. As I've talked about it on Monday and on the previous week, there are certain things that I do because I'm so willing and so I try new things because I don't doubt things, that I do fail. Not everything works. And this is why you need your list. You need to make sure that if you're knocked down or something fails, that you've got something else on your list to aim for. We are not here about making one step forward, fall over, and that's the end of the game. No. Once you learn to step out your comfort zone, you will find days where you go back into it. Where you hear people saying about, oh, I'm just going to chill out. I'm going to chill out in front of the sofa and watch Netflix. That's someone's comfort zone. You know, that's where they're comfortable. They know that nothing negative is going to happen apart from you could watch a bad film. And you could be thinking to yourself, well, that's an hour and a half or 2 hours of wasting my life. But normally it's a comfort zone. But what you don't want to do is live in a place, in a zone where that comfortable is not good. It's not a happy place. I want you to be able to come in and out of your comfort zone when you want to, when you choose to. And for us to do that, we need to be strong. You need to believe in yourself. And believe takes time. The confidence will come. This is why I said to you right from the beginning, we need to do something in these first couple of sessions, in these first couple of weeks, where you put something on that list, an A, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an A, where you can achieve really quickly so you know what it feels like. So you can go around that circle and then start achieving the better things. Because it's important that you come in and out of your comfort zone when you choose. You are in charge of your life. Now, people disagree with me when I say that, because when you're at school, they believe that it's the teachers that are in charge. When realistically, we know that if you don't want to learn, you're not going to learn. When you go to your job, your boss is in charge. Same things apply. If you don't really want to do your job, you're either going to walk out or you're just going to mess about. But if you really want to shine, you'll go in there and you'll work harder than your colleague. Not because your boss is saying other things, just because that's who you are. You've made that decision. Life is all about choices, and it's all on down to you. How bad do you want to have a better life? And are you going to let those little seeds of doubt stop you? Are you going to let those walls of fear stop you coming out of your comfort zone? Because we've all seen it. The army do it very typically. They put literally walls in place when they're doing the obstacle courses, because they teach people mentally from the word get-go that you can overcome any hurdle, even if it's a wall. And they make these people climb that wall. It isn't just a physical exercise, it's a mental one. They are proving that there's a wall in front of you, and if you can climb right over it. And what actually happens if you cannot climb that wall? The instructor will say to you next time you will climb it, but today you walk round it. And that's the key. The wall's still there. So if you can't get over it the first time by climbing it, you can go around it. Or if you're the Incredible Hulk, you go straight through it. You know, the choice is yours on how you want to do it. Other people, other coaches look at it slightly different. And the way they word it, and I've used this a couple of times, but sometimes it's very hard for people to visualize. But I will tell you, for the ones that are listening to this, that are watching this, that are a little bit stronger than the others. And it's visualization. You have a wall in front of you. You have a massive doubt, a massive fear. And you can't see where the opportunity is coming from. You can't see how you're going to get over it or how you're going to get around it. And people visualize a door. They look for the solution. They no longer worry about the wall. They are looking for the solution of where the door is. So they start to visualize a door in this wall, a gap of all of a sudden you've got all this fear, all this doubt, but now you're not focused on it. The wall's not so big anymore. The wall could be humongous because there's a door. And you can simply open the door and walk through it. But for you to do that, you mustn't let doubt and fear overcome. You must look for a solution, look for a better life. Now, I know that what I'm talking about is quite hard to take in. It's quite hard to digest. These are one of these sessions where it will take people maybe once or twice, to go back and listen to it, to really understand what I'm talking about when I talk about how to overcome fear and doubt. Because it's the misbelief that you sit there and you can actually walk out of your comfort zone whenever you feel like it. But can you? You may think you can, but if you really had to, can you? And this is what I want to know. I want you to ask yourself a question. Are you that 20% of people, or are you really that 80%? Because believing you can do something, telling yourself you can do something, but actually doing it is two very different things. And this is where I want you to have the confidence to not only believe and tell yourself that you're going to do something, I actually want you to stand up, be proud, and do it. Because there's proven fact. We said it on Monday and we said it on Friday. At the moment, the world is a mess. There are so many things that are negative and going wrong, but yet you see people achieving some amazing things because they're not worried about the fear. They're not listening to doubt. They're not overthinking things. They are focusing on things they can do, and they are allowing themselves to step out of their comfort zone. How can they improve themselves with so much fear out there? We can all do this, but you need to make that decision. And this is why it doesn't matter. I've said this over and over again. And the reason you will hear me say the same things over and over again is because I am planting those seeds. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. If you want to tell yourself something and really to listen to it, you need to keep telling yourself it. How many times as children do we get told to do the same thing over and over and over again? It's because it's drilled into you. But as adults, that stops. We tell ourselves once and it goes in, and then because we've got busy lives, it's forgotten about. No. I will drill information into your heads because I genuinely believe if you're sitting here watching this, you deserve to be that 20% because you're making that effort. There's a question that I've got sent through. Not really a question, but it's more of a statement, and it's really good because it's about somebody's worth. They just generally don't believe that good things can happen. Now that's a hard thing to digest. But the difference is, if you believe that that's the case for you, you're wrong. You can have a better life. You just need to stop thinking the way you have been for however long your life has been negative. You need to change your routine. You need to change the way you think. You need to change it. I've had people in the past tell me that they're not happy because of how their partner treats them. To me, that doesn't make no difference if that situation is the same. You're going to work and your boss is making you feel bad. There's no difference. You are the problem, not your boss, not that partner. The reason I say you're the problem is because you're the one who's willing to sit there and take it day in, day out. Yes, you could be weak. Yes, you could be vulnerable, but you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to make a difference. And this is where it's important. You need to make that stand and just step out and go for it. But you are the ones that need to do this. There is no handout. I had someone message me during the week regarding these mindsets sessions. And they said, I don't understand what the catch is. Why is it free? And I said, there is no catch. It's free. If you want it, all you got to do is let me know. And if you can't make it, I'll send you the recordings. It's quite simple. Just give me some emails so I can send it to you. The catch is you've got to give me a little bit of information so I can send you something. Or I'll give you the link and you can watch it. There is no catch. So we had a conversation. That was it. And that person didn't give me their details, but was quite open to tell me that they want to change, they want to do this. I actually felt like telling them there's a price to it, because I genuinely believe that probably would have brought them in. Because some people have so many doubts that there's some sort of negative catch on everything. Why does it have to be? Why can't life just be a bed of roses? Why can't we have this, for example, the situation we are right now? You're watching me. I'm giving you some information. I'm giving you some knowledge. Let's just say you take that information and that knowledge, pretty much is what Jack's been doing up till now, and you take it and you implement it and you tell yourself, I deserve a better life, and you make that step off the comfort zone, and all of a sudden your life becomes better. Is it because of me and my recordings, or is it because you've decided to make a difference and to change things? For me, it isn't about me. This is the difference. You can pick up this kind of information that I'm giving on the internet. The difference is you're here listening to it now because you want to change, which means you're the one that's taken control. You're the one who made that decision, I want to change, which means you need to push forward. Jump out of that comfort zone, believe in yourself, and go for it. You are going to walk into a wall. It's fact. You can't help it. Dust yourself off, carry on. Climb the wall, walk around it, visualize the door. However you want to overcome these problems, do it. Because that's the difference. Everything that people overcome in life, they're just things. But because people put so much pressure on themselves, so much overthinking goes into it, you literally make a mountain out of a molehill. If you're growing your own business, it's just a business. It's just a business. That's all it is. It's you and a business. You need clients to bring in money, and that's how it's easy. Right? It's the same as fitness. I can go into real scientific terms on how you lose fat, but the simple step is you just do a bit of exercise, you look at what you eat, you be consistent, be motivated. That's how it works. Okay, and other bits and pieces, but the simple fact is that you can have whatever you want. You just need to simplify it. Get out your comfort zone and know that fear will come. So what we're going to do is, right, is I'm going to allow it now that anybody who's watched this, I know that I haven't gone into enough detail regarding doubt and fear. Doubt and fear has been one of my biggest subjects that I use with my clients, and it takes weeks. It really does. It's one of the biggest and the hardest things to overcome. You guys, everyone who's watching, wherever you are in the world, have until the end of March to email me how and what you need to know regarding overcoming your fear and doubts. I want you to use what I've learned, my tips, my knowledge, everything. I want you to use that and answer your questions. Because it is such an overwhelming thing that, like I said, 80% of people now will be left behind. But wouldn't it be lovely if we can just turn that a little bit? So 50% of you that are watching this can do it. But the realistic factor is that 80% of you right now will talk about it probably right up to the end of March when we finish these sessions, and you'll be really positive. And you'll still be talking to your partners and friends that you're going to do this and this and that. And you'll talk, and you will talk, but that'll be it. Where the other 20%, like Jack right now, who's with us, who's actually put things in place, he's talking about it. Yeah, damn right he's talking about it, but he's also implementing it. Is he going to be worried? Is he going to have doubts? Of course he is. He's human. But the fact of the matter is, I want you guys to reach out. There is no catch here. The catch, well, there is. The catch, you got me to the end of March. And then you're going to have to pay for my service. But realistically speaking, right, it isn't about that. Use me. I've got people now that are messaging me, and it's amazing the reach. I mean, good night to the people in Australia, right? But it's, you know, use me. I know there's a massive time difference, and that's why you're not on. But the great thing about it is they're messaging me questions. Use me. Let me help you, take you from that comfort zone and eliminate those doubts and fears. But be warned, the one thing that I'm going to say to you over and over again is that this is your battle. I can stand right behind you. I can give you the tools and tips that you need, but you are going to need to get up and say to you, I'm doing this and I'm doing it for myself. Believe in yourself. And I generally believe that you can put yourself in that 20%. Stick it on a post-it note, in your bedroom mirror, on your bathroom mirror, anywhere that you see, on even a dashboard of the car, and tell yourself, I will be in that 20%. Do not be in that 80% because you're telling yourself you can't do something. Don't do it to yourself. You deserve that life that you're destined for. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up and we're going to start doing our questions. But really important, please make sure that you reach out so we can get you onto the next stage. Because after the doubt and fears, it actually becomes easier. It's just down to planning, structure, and keep moving forward. So this is essentially your break, the hardest bit. But if we can get you past this, we seriously can win. So for me, thank you, but come on. Right, so what we're going to do is, before I speak to Jack, I'm just going to wrap it up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some questions that come through, and then I'm just going to do like I normally do and use Jack to see where he's at his stage. And luckily for me, Jack has essentially grown and started taking the stuff right from the beginning and implementing those bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to answer these questions and we'll see where he's at. First question is from Lucy, and it's, I can't sleep because I've always have things on my mind. How can I improve? Okay, so this one's actually, there's a couple of factors for this one. With this one, if you can't sleep because you're going to bed because your mind's just everywhere. I say to a lot of my clients that do this is that you need to empty your mind. Now, if you're worried and you have pressure and stuff like that, that's a different kind of way. But normally you can detox. So I always say to people, an hour before you go to bed, it's a great amount of time to detox if you're struggling to sleep. And when I mean detox, I mean digitally as well. So find a book to read, relax in a bath, you know, try to find a way of disconnecting from that day, a way of relaxing your mind. If there is loads of things that's going around that's and you're thinking, from what I gather from this question, that you've got loads of things that are constantly going, so you're worrying about tomorrow, you're worrying about the week, take a pad and pen to bed and leave it in your bedroom. It must never leave your bedroom side. So if you've got a bedside cabinet, you've got a notepad and a pen there, always. And what you will find is that you will go to bed, and because you've now started to relax, you will have lots of things going on in your head. That is a great opportunity to get those things out of your head and bullet point them onto a piece of paper. Literally get them out. Because if you don't write them down, you are going to try to force yourself to remember them while you try to sleep, which means what you're doing is you're forcing your mind to stay awake, so you're not going to sleep well. So if you're sitting there and you've got loads of things going, I must remember to do this tomorrow, and I must write it on a piece of paper, get one of those notepads so you can rip out the paper, and in the morning, rip out the piece of paper, take it to your desk, and crack on. See how that helps. Lucy, if that doesn't work, send me a message if that was the wrong end of what you're talking about, and I'll make sure that we get to the end of that. Mark, I understand good mindset, but good things don't happen to me. Will this ever change? Okay, when I read this, Mark, thank you, by the way. Mark is one of those, so good night. What I read this is that you understand what a good mindset is, but you're saying that things just don't good happen to you. Will this ever change? I'm going to say no. And that's going to be really harsh, because that means that I want you to understand that you do not understand what a good mindset is. If you are sitting there and you are telling yourself that good things don't happen to you, they won't. What you need to understand is that a good mindset will be telling you that good things are going to happen. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at the ways for that to happen. So Mark, before you kind of go any further, I know that I sent you the other sessions. What I would say to you is strip yourself back. Do what Jack did, kind of start from session 1, bring yourself to date, kind of get yourself out the past, because it sounds like you're kind of holding on to something there. You're focusing too much on life not being great. Get to present day and then come up with some good, solid things on your list that will make your life better. And in your head, just tell yourself and believe that life is going to be better. And I generally believe that will help you improve, because everyone can change. But by the sounds of things, you actually think you have a good mindset and you don't. And I know that may come across really harsh, but if you are believing that good things ain't going to happen to you, then they're just not. Which means you've got a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of negativity in your head, which means you haven't got a good mindset. So go back to session 1, really listen to them all, strip yourself back and restart it. Mark, once again, let me know, reply on that. And I'm so sorry that came across harsh, but sometimes I need to be. And then Jose, this is what we spoke about earlier, not really a question. I can't help living in the past. I'm bitter, I'm angry, and I can't help it. Help me. You know, that is just what we've been doing right now. Jose, you really need to just go back to session 1 and really listen to it, because you know you're telling me, so which means you know the answer. Stop living in the past. You don't live there, you live today. You know, so stop living, stop bringing that bitterness and anger in. I mean, who wants to live life like that? I mean, I can't even, well, I do. I used to be like that. So I understand, Jose, but you need to snap out of that. You know, I don't know what kind of person you are. I don't know who you are, what's happened in the past, but literally snap out of it. Do not continue, and just tell yourself that you're not going to bring that kind of negativity into tomorrow. I mean, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to the people around you? You are stopping yourself meeting better people, because they will look at you and you'll be known as angry and bitter Jose, where no one wants to have a friend like that. So leave it behind, strip yourself back, bring you into the now. And the same as Mark, you know, literally get yourself a list of things that will make you look forward to things in the future. Make it simple for yourself, Jose. And trust me, you will very soon forget about all that stuff that's bitter, because I know it's very easy to hold on to that kind of stuff. But let's be fair. You are the only one who's suffering. Well, and the other people that you make suffer. But that's a different story. Jose, seriously, do it. Strip yourself back, bring yourself up to present, and then just look at some real solid positive things forward, and you'll be amazing. Let me know how that goes. So that's my questions that's all my questions for now. I'm going to bring Jack off mute and into now. Hello, Jack.
All right,
Bruno. So I've actually got some really good feedback from some people regarding about how you've kind of using stuff and basically implemented as you go along. And I've had a couple of, not questions, but basically they want to know, have you been able to change massively is one of the things. Or the other thing was, what is the biggest thing that you've changed since session 1 was the kind of other question.
So for me, this takes me back to some things happened in my past.
Yeah.
So didn't have the best childhood growing up. Dad left really young. He wasn't a nice person. That put me in really hostile. So and then I got to a point where I went racing on motorbikes. That's quite scary in itself. When you're starting off and everyone's flying past you and things like that, you have quite a lot of doubt. I got told the thrill of speed overcomes the fear of death.
Yeah.
And that for me took a while to sink in. And it was only up to the point where I was like, oh, well, if I just brake 2 seconds later than what I was doing, or half a second, I'm doing better. And then I found my confidence grew, and then I was in the mix. And then they make you sign this form that says, you're taking full responsibility of it. You can't sue them if you have an accident or you die.
Yeah.
And no racer goes racing to go, oh, I'm going to kill myself. It's not like that. We do it because we love riding bikes. We love riding fast. I had the biggest accident you could possibly have. I got run over by a bike, about 100 miles an hour, ran over my shoulder and my head and my lower back. I got up, and that put so much doubt in my mind. Every time I go to a racetrack after that, I'm thinking, oh, someone's going to punt me off. And then eventually that happened again. Broke my big toe, but I still carried on. But I started worrying about the weather and if it would rain. And then I heard a great story. It's a guy goes to a monk and says, how do I stop worrying? And he says, is it something you can change with your hands right now? He said, if you can't, don't worry about it. You can't affect it. And that was to me, that struck in my head. And I was like, well, I can't control the weather. That's something I'm worrying about. I don't need to be. And I can't control what other people do, but I can control my output.
Yeah.
And with the sort of anger side of it as well. Yeah, you might keep hold of your anger and your bitterness. That may never leave you. But the more you dwell on it, the more you're giving that power back to the person that did it.
Yeah.
And you're just holding yourself down. And for me, this has helped me let go of some of that.
Good.
And then focus on just, as you say, fake it until you sort of make it. And then it just clicks. That fear just starts to go away. And you just start doing the little things.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a change. And then it just rolls on from there.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh, I've done that. Oh, I'll do that on my list. And then it just builds up and builds up. And the way you look at yourself as well, I think is very important.
Yeah.
If you're constantly going, I'm not worth this, I'm not worth that, that's only just feeding you down into that. Say something you like about yourself.
Yeah.
Could be absolutely anything. And then the next day say something else as well.
Yeah.
And that for me, with your coaching, has just built and built and built. And now I wake up, as you say, you leave everything that happened yesterday. That's that, you can't change it.
Yeah.
So why worry about it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you
I remember when we first had a conversation regarding Instagram and Instagram stories, and how you said that you just can't see yourself getting in front of a camera, or just you're not good at it, you're not confident enough in it. And I just basically just said to you, where the doubts and fears were going into your head, I just said you just got to do it. It's like you're gonna mess up. The amount of people that they do these videos, it's just a simple case. You just got to do it. And you went from like doing no videos to then suddenly, I remember messaging you just like over and over again, where she's like, "Oh my God, you're on video, you're on video," because suddenly your face was on a video story. It was just like, that's you, just obviously clearly not comfortable on the first couple of videos, but you still did it. And that's something where I would say that it's a real kind of even I said to you that I'm proud of you when you did that, because it's a big step. And this is why people's, I generally believe that everyone's doubts and fears are differently. You're talking about some real kind of big ones there with the motorbike and stuff. But most people I know don't, will probably never ride a motorbike after that. But I know that you ride motorbikes every day now. You ride it to work and stuff like that. So I know that you basically got, well, essentially back onto the horse. And it's still a very big passion of yours. So you must have overcome that fear after a while.
Yeah, so it takes a while, but like you just you get back into a rhythm, and now I can go back on track, and I'm faster than when I was before I had the accident, which is weird because I've obviously got long-term side effects of it.
Yeah.
And that affects when I work out. I can't do certain things, like I can't grow as fast with muscle and stuff because I can't put too much stress through one area. But that also taught me a lot, because before, all I was ever told in school was, oh, he'll just end up pushing trolleys at Tesco's.
Yeah.
That sort of weighs on you. And it's like, well, I'm no good. I'm not going to be able to do anything. But coming back from that accident, that's when I got into fitness like massively. Started going, well, I've got to learn how to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And then it all sort of came together in my head like in a Rubik's Cube, and going, oh, well, if you fix this part of your body, well, that was caused because this was out of whack. And it's like a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I've got a bad lower back. Well, that starts with the hip. The hip's out of alignment. Well, that's the ankles tight, because something at the bottom where it starts, that has a knock-on effect up through the knee, up into the hip, and then up all the way to your neck. But a lot of people look at the symptom right then from them.
Yeah.
And they don't look at the root cause of it.
Yeah. I.e. the same as people focus on the problem, not the solution.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like I can do about what happened in my childhood.
Yeah.
But I know when I'm with my niece and my nephew, I give them as much attention as I can. I'll play with them. I listen to them. Like, I'll buy little things, but it's all about like the time and stuff you can spend. Yeah. You can make that change how you want to be. Yeah. You're not defined by what happened to you. Yeah. You determine the outcome, what's going on.
Yeah. That's very true. And so, you're bang on the money there, spot on. And from that point onwards, what are you looking to achieve business-wise with everything that we've kind of talked about since session one? What is your kind of like thing that you're looking to do with your business, like ASAP? What's the first thing?
So right at this minute in time, I'm literally trying to help the TA with their fitness.
Yeah.
And then maybe hopefully down the line, help the military guys actually change the way they do stuff. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people I know go in and then they end up getting hurt just because of the way they push them for sort of physically. Yeah. That's not great, but they could actually change it to make not only the people that serve perform better, but also have a longer career, and that when they come out of the military, they're in a better mindset and they're actually physically better as well. So, but it all starts at the bottom. If I can do a good job with the TA guys, and then I can then have a good base to be able to go to the army and go, here's my findings, here's my research, here's what I put into play.
It's good. It's really good. A real solid, make sure you put a good solid benchmark of what you classify as good. So then that way you can kind of use it as like, when I get to that level, I then go and hit the next level. But yeah, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Jack. Once again, using you as kind of like this information bit where we're going along. But no, thank you so much. And that's it for session 4. So everyone who's watching, wherever you are in the world, thank you so much. And I hope with what you've learned over the case of these 4 sessions, you will put yourself into that 20%. Let's do that. Let's really do it. So the next session, we can start to really kind of move forward, start achieving things to get that better life and that better mindset growth. So everyone, thank you so much. And I will see you all next week. Have an amazing weekend, and I will take care, and I will see you all then. So thank you very much. Goodbye.